So he came to Simon Peter. He said to him, "Lord, do you wash my feet?" So we need to understand, in this context, foot washing before a meal was a common reality. Jesus answered and said to him, "What I do, you do not realize now, but you will understand hereafter." So there's something that Jesus is doing that at the time Peter didn't understand. But looking back, it was going to make sense. Well, we're looking at that today, and it makes sense. Verse 8, Peter said to him, "Never shall you wash my feet." Jesus answered him, "If I do not wash you, you have no part with me." What's he talking about? Is he talking about washing his feet? Of course he's not. This symbolizes something greater. If Jesus doesn't perform this washing, Peter has no part with Jesus. What's the washing? The washing that Jesus is talking about is the cleansing from sin. And without being cleansed from sin, Peter would have no part with Jesus. Look at verse 9. Simon Peter said to him, "Lord, then wash not only my feet, but also my hands and my head." Now, Peter was always quick to rush into a response, but I'll tell you what, this time he nailed it. He nailed it. Because Peter is recognizing, Jesus, if this is about cleansing, and if I have no part of you, if you don't wash me, well then, let's not stop with the feet. Let's do the whole thing. Look at verse 10. Jesus said to him, "He who is bathed needs only to wash his feet, but is completely clean, and you are clean." You are clean. Why? Because Peter had bathed. He had already been washed. His entire body was cleansed. And Jesus is recognizing there's only one part that needs cleansed now. It's the feet. And he says, "But not all of you, not every one of you." Verse 11, "For he knew the one who was betraying him. For this reason he said, 'Not all of you are clean.'" Is it that Judas's feet were dirtier than Peter's? No, it had nothing to do with feet. It had to do with the bodily cleansing that comes, the purging of sin, the removal of sin, the applying of Christ's righteousness to the person. And Jesus is looking at his apostles and he's saying, 11 of you are clean, one is not. 11 of them had applied to them Jesus' work in removing their sin. See, a believer has had a bath. That's salvation. But from time to time, the believer walks down the road. He gets the dirty feet. That's sin. And the feet need to be washed. This isn't necessarily a walk as a sinful pattern of life. This is occasional sin. And when the believer sins, what does he do? He confesses sin. And Jesus washes that sin.